Hey everybody, how's it going? I'm Sethum and welcome back to another video guide for Valheim. In this video, folks, I'm going to show you everything that you need to know in order to get bronze. Bronze is a metal, however, it's not that easy to get, and there is a lot of steps for the purpose or in order to get bronze. So first things first, you want to come into the Black Forest, and along the side here with the water, you will find ore that is tin. So right there, that is an ore deposit, that's a rock. You can see the difference between them, and we're going to want to harvest them with the pick that we got from the first boss. So we're going to harvest this, we're going to get some tin. Do bear in mind that the tin does weigh quite a decent amount, so you'll have to do multiple trips, but the tin is always found around the water's edge, just like the flint. I'm just going to level this out. I don't really want to fall into it later on because this is close to my base. So right there, as you can see, when my crosshair is on that, it does not tell me anything, so that would make it a rock. Tin is slightly more silvery in color, and when you put your crosshair on it, it will say that it is a tin ore. So let's find another one just to show you that. And we should find something not very far. Now, I always look over my shoulder here because we do get attacked by the dwarves, and I don't really want a sneak attack on me. So right there, that's a stone. That is a bit of tin ore. So we'll harvest this one as well. So there we go. That's that for the tin. There's another one right there. I'll quickly pick this up as well. And then the next thing that you will need is copper. So we're going to find some copper ore, and I'll show you that. So over here in front of me, not this rock, which is a normal rock, just before that, or just after that actually, is copper ore. Now, unlike tin ore, the copper ore is a lot bigger sometimes, and you don't always get copper from it. So I'll show you that as well as I'm harvesting this. And it should break there. As you can see right there, just got stone. Again, I'm always looking over my shoulder because I know there are bad things here in the Black Forest. Now this you can find throughout the Black Forest. What I've done for my own knowledge is if I've come across a ore or a pile of copper, I have marked it on my mini-map just so I know for future reference if I do need any of it. So as you can see, I've kind of attracted a lot of bad attention. The next thing that you'll need will be the circling cores, which you can find in dungeons. Also in dungeons, do keep an eye out as you can find chests with different valuable lootable items, so it is worth picking these up. The circling cores are the red cubes that you will find throughout dungeons. Dungeons can be quite dangerous, so do come prepared. Make sure you have plenty of food with you, as of course health and stamina is quite important, and these skeletons can hurt quite a bit. So those are the circling cores, but do look around because you will find all sorts of things like pearls and gems and stuff that you can loot. Also throughout the dungeon you will find yellow glowing mushrooms, and I recommend picking these up as they are a good source of food. And of course it does help to have the stag breaker hammer, which again you get from defeating the first boss, and that is because it does a good AoE damage, and so you can use these tight corridors as a way of keeping enemies at bay, especially the skeletons, which hurt quite a bit and they can pile up on you. There's also tablets that you can pick up or actually interact with. I recommend doing that. So for example, this right here will show me the location of the boss, so that would be the nearest second boss. I can show you that on the map. I've already discovered it prior to this. So here we have some more circling cores. Now some dungeons will have one or two or three, others will have quite a few of these cores. The other thing to watch out for is the ghost. These things are painful. Now I'm trying to use, of course, the hammer to try and keep it at bay. It does do a ranged attack and it does hurt quite a bit, so make sure that your health is always topped up. I am trying to stay out of its attack as much as I can and trying to push it back, which is why I'm using the stag breaker. Of course you can use the arrows as well, but with the arrows, the ghost, as you saw there, will move from time to time. So again, we got some more circling cores there in the distance, and the good thing about the dungeons is that they are quite tight, as you can see, so it allows me to kind of knock things back and kind of keep them at distance, providing I have stamina. So there's always stuff to loot on the side. That is over there. There are gold, We've got these certain cores. Definitely pick these up, and you will need a total of 10 of these in order to craft the forge and the kiln. The kiln will of course be for making coal, and you do that by adding wood into it, but I'll show you that later on in this video. So I was telling you about the glowing mushrooms. You can see them in front of me. It's those things right there. You want to harvest them. It acts just like the other mushrooms that you find in the forest, and they do give you a good health and stamina boost, so definitely worth picking these up. And I actually like them because they're easier to find. You know where to find them, and you know that you will always find them in the dungeons, so definitely another good reason to come in these dungeons to farm the mushrooms. So you can also see through the doors sometimes, through the cracks of the doors. So I'm lucky enough not to have an enemy in this particular room, but there is a certain core right there. And this is what the dungeons can look like from the outside. Sometimes they're just basically a hole in the ground. Now you'll know you are close to a dungeon entrance because there will be skeletons around them and they will be hostile. What is nice about this is that the skeletons are hostile to the gradings and the grey dwarfs and all these things, so you can get them to fight each other, and most often the skeletons will come out on top. However, by the end of their fight, the skeletons should be fairly weak. Do bear in mind that if you are not prepared, if you have not eaten, the skeletons can pretty much one-shot you, so keep that in mind. And I've seen, I think, between 2 and 3, maybe sometimes 4 around a dungeon entrance. Now, once you have all of these resources, it's time to craft the smelter and the kiln. Now, the smelter does what it says, and of course that will smelt all of the ore into bars or ingots, whatever you want to call them. And of course the kiln is for kind of creating or crafting the charcoal. Charcoal is basically crafted by adding wood into the kiln, and then of course we will need the charcoal for the smelter. So I'm just having a look at object placement because I am making some modifications to my base. This is the smelter right there, so let's place down the smelter. Now you know the front of the smelter has a little like little pipe, little thing coming out, protrusion coming out, and the sides have holes in them. They have a purpose, and I will show you what those holes are for. I'm going to try and get the smelter as close as I can to my base. Next up, I'm going to place the kiln down, and I want it close to the smelter. You want to place it down as close as possible to the smelter because these things work together, and basically it just makes your life that much more easier. So I'm going to place it like this. This will allow us to pick up the coal and then just shove it into the smelter. Now, this is the smelter right here. How do we use the smelter? I don't have any ore with me right now. I don't actually have any charcoal. We're going to talk to the raven just to get rid of the raven. We don't really want him around here. But you look at this little hole right there in the kiln. We interact with it, and every time we do so, we will place wood into the kiln and it will burn it into charcoal. So that is pretty much what that does. We are going to get some raw material, and then we will place that with the charcoal into the kiln. So into the smelter. That is what it looks like when the charcoal is done, and the ratio is 1 wood to 1 charcoal. So that's pretty much how that works. I think you can place a maximum of 25 wood in it. Right, I am getting some raw materials out. We're gonna go and place that into the smelter, which is up here, and on the side right here we place the ore that we harvested, and on this end we will add in the charcoal. With the charcoal and the material inside the smelter right there at this end, we will get the bar of whatever we will be smelting. So that can be the tin or the copper. We will need 2 copper and 1 tin to make one bronze, but before we do that we need to place down a forge. Now, a forge will cost, of course, copper, so it's good to smelt some stuff. Now, whilst of course this is taking place, I do suggest just waiting it out, either by sleeping or making changes or upgrades or doing whatever to your base, or even going off and doing some exploring. When you come back, you will have loads of resources coming out this end, so pick them up and then store them in boxes. So I'm going to add some more wood in here because we will need quite a bit of charcoal. It does consume charcoal when you do use the smelter quite quite nicely, to be fairly honest. It does go through charcoal quite quickly, so keep that in mind. We got another bar right there that just popped out, so you got to see the animation. Do bear in mind that smelting is a fairly slow process, so it will take a bit of time. Once you have enough resources, you can now craft the forge. We will need, of course, as you can see by the requirements, stone. We will need copper. We will also need wood and a couple of other resources. So I'm going to pick up some charcoal right there because that is a requirement. We want some copper right here. We want 6 of these, and that should be enough to place down our forge. And then we want some stone and wood. So I'll take a stack of these, and then I'll take a stack of wood. So now, with all the resources in our inventory, time to place down the forge. When you place down the forge, it will unlock a bunch of new recipes. However, when you do access the forge, you will notice that they are not in the forge. That is because you need to create the bronze. Most of the recipes are bronze recipes. So we'll do that. That looks perfect. And here come all the recipes that we have now unlocked. Okay. Now let's go and look inside the forge. As you can see, we have only 3 recipes, and the other recipes will unlock once we start creating bronze. To create bronze, as you can see, it is a 2-in-1 ratio for 1 bronze. So basically we need 2 copper, 1 tin for 1 bar of bronze. And just to kind of show you over here, I'm looking at this to show you that in the workbench there is no new recipe apart from what I already had. So let's go and sort out my inventory, because I am carrying quite a bit of rubbish that I don't need. So we'll take some copper. We want to put back the stone that we have. Same thing applies to the wood, which is heavy, so we don't need any wood as far as I can remember. There we go, keeping things nice and tidy. We don't want this for the time being, but we do want some tin. If I'm mistaken, let me just double check. Yep, okay. Yes, I do want some tin. I don't even know why I checked that, because I already knew that information. Tin is right here. And then we now haul all this to here. And I'm going to create a stack of 5 of these. And here we go. Some more recipes have been unlocked. And this is pretty much all the stuff that you can craft with the bronze that you have now learned how to craft. With this, you have now unlocked the Bronze Age, which allows you to craft loads of good weapons and better armor, as well as some other materials and items that you can use to modify the base and stuff that you have around. So for example, the cultivator will allow you to plant seeds for carrots and trees, as well as to plant grass down, which of course looks far better in my opinion. With that being said and done, I'm going to let you guys explore what you can craft and how to use it. I do hope that you have enjoyed it and found it useful and informative. If you have, please don't forget to support me in the channel by hitting that like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new and haven't already for more similar content from myself. And if you have just subscribed, why not check out some of my other videos and guides here on the channel? Who knows, you might just enjoy them. And don't forget to hit that bell icon so that you get notified when I upload new videos and content to the channel, as I don't just cover Valheim. And also, for those interested, you can always find me on the Sethum Discord. Links, this of course you can find down below in the video's description. And until next time, stay safe folks.